The Pacific Northwest speaks to every part of my soul. Her nurturing trees, comforting blankets of fog, grounded energy, and powerful waters lent beauty and comfort each and every one of the 995 days I spent there. However, despite my beautiful surroundings, life continued to be every bit as much of a struggle as it had been in the years prior. My apartment flooded, again. I was shunted into an emergency move, and I also lost my best friend. So I guess I just never really recovered. But I suppose that if you're very, very lucky, if the stars align just right, and you know some of the kindest and most generous people that are walking this earth, sometimes life is willing to finally toss you a line.
All the bananas are gone. You ate them all. Nope, they're not in there. Okay.
It's been 5 long months since my last polished video was uploaded, and today you'll find me in what is Western Oregon's opposite in nearly every way, Nevada's rural high desert. At well over 4,000 feet above sea level, temperatures below freezing every night during the winter months, and humidity levels regularly below 20%, it has been a rather big adjustment here. So why rural Nevada? The most straightforward and relevant answer is that I have incredible friends here who have opened their home to me when times have gotten too hard for me to handle on my own. However, there's also a more layered reason that is a little bit harder for me to put into words. This home of theirs is safety and support and joy. The land here is different from the old growth forests that I hold so dear, but it's also quiet and grounding in its own way. And it is so much more beautiful than I ever gave it credit. I have never had the desire to visit Nevada, let alone move here, aside from my friends being here. In fact, I actually used its remoteness to avoid visiting my father when he had asked me to. 5 years ago, my father and I reconnected after not having a relationship throughout my entire adult life. He was living in the middle of nowhere, Nevada, and he wanted me to come visit, saying how much I would enjoy it out here. When we had been talking, it was around this time of year, and he talked about the quiet snow and the rabbits and all the other wildlife that I would love. But at the time, I was still hurting and upset, and I wasn't willing to take the time off of work and make arrangements in my life to come visit all the way from Texas. He ended up passing away a few months later. I'm not a religious person, but in these past years, for a wide variety of reasons, I have grown to be more spiritual. I've long been practicing Qigong to help with my chronic pain and anxiety. I use tarot as a window of introspection for myself. I truly cherish the earth and the elements, and I even feel a wonderfully nurturing presence from our moon. So while I'm not one to say that everything happens for a reason, nor do I look to a singular higher power for guidance, it was not lost on me a couple of years ago when I found out that a pair of my dear friends on the East Coast were moving to, you guessed it, rural Nevada. And not just anywhere in Nevada, less than an hour from where my father died. For the time being, I had set it out of my mind and just avoided the difficult feelings when I came to visit them. After all, I've gotten very good at the avoidance game. had a lot of big feelings surrounding this move for an extremely wide range of reasons. I have so much healing to do from these past 5 years of trauma after trauma, but everything seemed to align to bring me here and surrounded by the unconditional love and support of my friends. It felt like life was telling me that it was finally time to come spend some time in this place. I cannot begin to express my gratitude for all the accommodations my friends have made in their own lives to make room for me, but they have done so enthusiastically with all the kindness that I could ever hope to be shown. I get to stay with them for the rest of the year, so for the time being, this is where I'll be seeing you from. In just the few weeks that I've been here, Nevada has already exceeded any expectations I had for it, and I think it's a really good thing that I moved here during the winter. While my body loathes the ping-ponging frigid temperatures and I'm already bracing for a blistering summer, the beauty out here is just so stunning that I almost wish I were a landscape artist. Almost. Every evening, the sky becomes a canvas. Of course, pictures never do a sunset justice, but some dusks are accompanied by blue-gray clouds set against a golden horizon, while others host the most vivid corals I've ever seen in nature. And every night, regardless of what the sunset to the west looks like, the skies to the east host pastel gradients that look so soft I don't even know how to name them. I do miss my evergreen forests, but this is a different kind of beauty that I look forward to making the most of while I'm here. And it turns out my dad was right. I do love it out here. In honor of this new adventure, I wanted to commemorate my time in the high desert with a crochet temperature blanket chronicling my days spent here. For those who aren't familiar with them, temperature blankets are a popular annual tradition of the fiber arts communities. While they can take on many patterns and forms and colors, I knew I wanted to assemble a color palette inspired by the soft hues of the land and sky here. Each day, I note the high temperature at my new home, and usually while watching TV with my friends after dinner, I stitch a row in that temperature's assigned color. By the end of the year, I will have a lovely blanket interlaced with memories in every stitch. I both can't wait to see it finished, and yet somehow I'm already dreading the year coming to an end. In addition to my 2 new human housemates, you may have also noticed that I have 4 of the equine variety as well. Gabe, Geronimo, Nadra, and Calorime. While my body limits me from being helpful with the more strenuous horse chores like mucking and refilling hay nets, I have taken on some of the grain duties. Working in the commissary at the zoo was always one of my favorite tasks as a volunteer and an intern, so this is right up my alley. Each horse has a different assortment of supplements to make sure that they stay nice and healthy, and assembling their meals has become sort of a meditative practice for me. I am not skilled or practiced enough yet to film while managing 4 horses and their feed tubs, but here are some wild cottontails to try and make up for it. They quite enjoy the free hay buffet and have gotten very bold about drinking from the horses' water troughs. My roommates refer to them as the Fellowship, as it started with about 4 buns earlier last year, and the troop has grown to a full 9. Geronimo is the oldest of the ponies and therefore doesn't do much work when it comes to riding, and unfortunately I'm too big for him to carry. But our new goal for this year is to get more movement in together. With my fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, it is hard to get exercise in general, so it helps to have an accountability buddy. He can easily outpace me, though he's kind enough to humor me and take in the views when I need a rest. The painting that you've seen me work on in this video was the 5th attempt for Patreon's January Print Pals reward. I really lost my groove there for a while with the stress of the move, but I am glad to have finally found it again. This painting uses Winsor & Newton's Gold Ochre and Cerulean Blue Red shade, as well as Schmincke's Mars Brown and Da Vinci's Denise's Gray, all of which were in the 48 color palette that I put together, oh gosh, at the end of 2023. I thought it was the end of last year, but I can't say that anymore. It was painted in my Etcher Perfect sketchbook with a silver black velvet size 8 round brush. Of course, the links to all the supplies are in the description. I do want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my patrons who have continued to support me during this slump and yet another life upheaval, as well as thank everyone who is watching. Your patience during my absence is much appreciated. I know I've said this before, but I truly hope that this is the turning point for good things to come, and my hope is to bring you along as I heal and find comfort in my art again. Until next time, my friends, happy painting.